Hello students, how are you? For today's video, I have prepared a presentation about the conditionals. Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, so what is a condition? A condition is an action or event that needs to occur to give place to another action or event. Okay, so now let's take a look at one example. The first, a PlayStation 5 and money. So if I want to have a PlayStation 5, I need to save a lot of money. So the condition here is that I need the money to get the PlayStation 5. So that is a condition. You first need to have something. In this case, you need to have the money in order to get the thing that you want. In this case, I want the PlayStation 5. Now, let's move on to the next. Okay, here we have the conditionals. As we all know, we have four. The zero conditional, the first conditional, the second, and the third conditional. Now let's review each one in detail. We have the zero conditional. Please don't forget that all conditions must begin with if. Don't forget the if. For the zero conditional, we're going to use the simple present. We're just going to talk in the present. But don't forget that the zero conditional is always used to refer about something that it will happen no matter what. For example, if you stand in the rain, you get wet. It will happen 100% of the time. If you heat ice, it melts 100% of the time. If you throw an object to the air, it will fall 100% of the time. Let's review some other examples. If I lose my cell phone, I lose all my contacts. It will happen. If you don't participate in class, you don't get extra points. If you eat too much junk food, you get fat. Very good. Now please don't forget, we have present, 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 present. It's pretty simple. Zero conditional, always use the present, and don't forget it will happen 100% of the time. The first conditional. Here we have a little different than the previous one. Present here and the future here. It is used to talk about possible situations in the future. Possible situations in the future. Now, for example, if it rains, we will cancel the trip. If you study, you will pass the exam. Now, three more examples. If I lose my job, I will have to get another one. If you don't study, you won't graduate. If you exercise every day, you will have a long life. Now remember, this is a possible situation. It is not like the previous zero conditional because you don't know 100%. You don't know for sure. For example, I can exercise every single day and God forbids I have an accident or I get killed by a mugger or something like that. So I never know. That is why I don't use the zero conditional, because there is that little possibility that does not make the 100% of effectivity. Yep. Now let's continue with the next. The second conditional. Here we use the past. Simple past, and then we use would and the verb. We have hypothetical or unlikely situations. So there is not too much possibility, like 10, 20, maybe 30%, but not more than that. Now, for example, if I won the lottery, which is like less than 1%, I would travel a lot. If they sold their house, they would be rich. And finally, we have three more examples. If I had a spaceship, I would travel to Jupiter. This is hypothetical. If I ruled the world, every man would be as free as a bird. This is a song, it's a very beautiful song. And then, if I were you, I wouldn't turn off my camera. Okay? So this is the second conditional. Don't forget, we have the simple past here, and then we have the would and the verb. Let's move on to the last one, the third conditional. We have the past perfect here, and then we have would have and the past perfect. Please don't forget that. In this case, the person is imagining a different past. For example, something that you could do before, but you didn't do it. And now you are facing the consequences of your actions. Let's take a look. If you had studied, I would have passed the test, the exam. If I hadn't been sick, I would have gone to your party. Now let's move on to our exercises. If you had participated in class, you wouldn't have needed to beg the teacher for 1 extra point. Don't forget, extra points in class. At the end of the year for supletorios, I don't give extra points. And the next one. If you had studied harder at school, you would have gotten into the university you want. So the choice is yours now. Do the things you need to do in this moment to get the results you want in the future. So that would be all, students, about the 4 conditionals. Remember, we have the 0, we have the first, the second, and the third. Remember, you have to take into consideration the past, the verb forms you have for the if clause and the result. Okay? Now, so that would be all about this tutorial video. Thank you for your attention, and I will see you in class. If you have any questions, don't forget, you can write to my email or you can ask them in class. Goodbye, students.